All right, so we're gonna go through the steps of how to do an exponential model, regression model, guys, regression model in Desmos, okay? So we're gonna be doing it in Desmos. And here are the steps to do it in Desmos. So step one is you're gonna add a table. Okay, so after you add the table, then step two, you're gonna input the data. So input the data just as it is. Then step three, you're gonna go to box two. And in box two, you're gonna type Y1, Inye squiggle line, I can never say the word right.
Squiggly.
A times B to the X1. Okay, box step four is a special step. You only do step four if you have a value that you're trying to find. So step four is where you go to box three and you input Y equals the number, the amount, or whatever you're looking for. Okay. Key things to remember at box two, after you do this, you probably will have to zoom out. Zoom in or zoom out to make it work. At Y equals amount, key thing to remember here is that you're looking for the intersection, okay? All right, so are you ready to follow these steps? So our problem says the best temperature to brew coffee is between 195 degrees and 205 degrees. The table shows temperature readings from a sample cup of coffee. How long does it take for the coffee to reach a temperature of 100 degrees? Use an exponential model, okay? So we have to first find our exponential model because we got to find it to use it. And then we're going to find out what is it at 100 degrees. Oh, other little tidbit that I just found out why I didn't like Desmos at first, but now I know what we need to do. In Desmos, we need to make sure that the log box is checked. So we got to check for log. All right, so let's go to Desmos. So I'm going to go to my Desmos. I'm going to start a blank document. So here's my Desmos. And I'm going to add a table. Once I add the table, that's step one. Step two is to input my data. So I'm going to input 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. The good thing about your X values, if Desmos recognize the counting pattern, all you have to do is hit enter and it will fill in the numbers for you. Then I'm going to go to Y1 and put in my Y values, 203, 177, 153, 137, 121, 111, and 104. Okay, so I've now inputted my data. Okay. Now, after you input at this point, you could go ahead and zoom out so that you can see your points. So I can go ahead and zoom out, and I want to zoom out until I see my points. So now I see my data. I could wait to zoom out when I have my graph, but now I want to go ahead and zoom out now. So I can see my points. And now in box two, you're going to type Y1, shift, then the button next to 1. And I'm going to type in A times B to the X1. So only using my keyboard, I'm pressing A to get the multiplication symbol. I'm pressing shift 8, B to get my power, I'm pressing shift 6. Then I type X1. Okay. Notice how we said to make sure that the log is checked. So I'm going to check log. And there are my points, and there is the regression model. So to write our regression equation, we're going to utilize, we have our A and we have our B. So we just have to plug them in. So for the problem, our equation would be Y equals your A, and our A is 196 0.66. And then our B is 0.98 to the X. We'll round it up. So this is our regression model. So this is the function that we'd use to predict any other values, okay? So in our problem, it actually asked us how long would it take to cool down to 100, right? So it's asking, what if Y equals 100? What is X going to equal, right? So if Y equals 100 degrees, what is X going to equal? So that's where that step 4 comes in. And that's where you're going to go to box. You're going to go to box 3 and you type in what you wanted to equal. So we want Y to equal 100. And notice how when we type in Y equals 100, it creates a line for the graph for us. And then we say we want to find their intersection. So the intersection is the point where my two values, my two functions meet. And so they intersect at X equals 29.827. So therefore, X would equal 29.8 minutes using this regression model. So using our regression model, for it to cool to about 100 degrees, it would take 29.8 minutes. And that's how the regression model works using Desmos.